Most airports are built to serve cities. This airport was built on a scale that seemed almost impossible. Its construction required decades of planning, billions in investment, and groundbreaking engineering. Join us as we uncover the secrets behind the world's largest airport. This is the largest airport on Earth, 780 square kilometers of steel, glass, and desert. But it did not start this way. It started as nothing. In the 1970s, Bahrain Airport was already too small. Crowds packed every corner, planes parked wing to wing, and Saudi Arabia's oil boom demanded something bigger. In 1976, surveyors drove into empty desert northwest of Dammam. No roads, no buildings, just sand, heat, and a plan to build something the world had never seen. Before a single brick was laid, engineers tested the ground itself, drilling boreholes, pulling soil samples, mapping every inch of the future airport site. In 1977, architects from Yamasaki and Boeing finished the master plan. Folded roof lines, a central dome, 2 parallel runways, the blueprint for a giant was complete. In Riyadh, officials signed the airport's development program into law. With one signature, this desert project became a national priority. By 1983, bulldozers rolled into the desert at dawn. Dune by dune, the land was flattened, the first physical step toward the world's largest airport. Hundreds of scrapers, graders, and dump trucks worked in formation, guided by laser levels accurate to the millimeter, shaping the desert into a perfectly flat foundation. Kilometers of security fencing rose around the site, guard posts were built, and the first office cabins were craned into place. Construction now had a permanent home. Surveyors stretched string lines across the desert, marking 2 runways, each 4,000 meters long. Corridors precise enough to guide jumbo jets decades later. Water trucks dampened the sand, and giant rollers compacted it layer by layer, while engineers tested density with nuclear gauges to meet exact specifications. Excavators dug deep drainage channels beside the runways, laying concrete pipe to handle sudden flash floods in a region known for its desert rain. Truck after truck poured crushed limestone aggregate onto the sand, building the structural base strong enough to one day carry fully loaded Boeing 747 seconds. A concrete batching plant rose beside the runway corridor, silos, mixers, and control rooms built to supply the millions of cubic meters of concrete this airport required. Slip-form pavers extruded the first concrete slabs, finishing crews smoothing every surface, curing it under the desert sun. The first kilometer of runway was born. Asphalt pavers laid the taxiway surface, steam rising off the fresh black mat as rollers pressed it tight, sealing the path planes would soon taxi on. Electricians buried cable and fitted runway lights into the pavement. At dusk, the first lights flickered on, the runway's nervous system alive for the first time. Between the 2 runways, curving taxiways took shape, graders and pavers tracing a geometric pattern that, from above, looked like a blueprint come to life. Tall steel towers rose beyond the runway's end, fitted with approach lights. At dusk, they ignited in sequence, a glowing path guiding aircraft home long before landing. Piling rigs hammered hundreds of deep foundations into the desert floor, building the hidden strength needed to support a 6-level, 327,000 square meter terminal. The first red steel columns rose from the foundation, a crawler crane lifting each one into place. The skeleton of the giant terminal had finally begun. High above the desert floor, iron workers bolted steel beams into place, sparks flying from welders as the terminal's frame climbed higher every single day. Massive steel roof trusses were lifted into position, one after another, slowly forming the terminal's distinctive folded, wing-like silhouette against the sky. Glass curtain wall panels were lifted and locked into the frame, sunlight catching each new sheet, slowly closing the building's skin section by section. Elegant domed roof structures, inspired by Islamic architecture, were assembled piece by piece, a cultural identity rising above thoroughly modern steel and glass. Level by level, concrete was poured across steel rebar mats, finishers smoothing each floor flat. The 6-level terminal was rising one slab at a time. Heavy cranes lowered pre-built escalators through ceiling shafts, while crews installed moving sidewalks designed to carry millions of passengers through the terminal. Deep beneath the terminal, technicians built a hidden network of conveyor belts, an automated baggage system threading through tunnels no passenger would ever see. Near the terminal, a deep circular foundation was poured for the control tower, and a slip-form rig was assembled, ready to climb skyward, ring by ring. The control tower's concrete core rose higher every week, a self-climbing rig casting fresh rings of concrete, slowly reaching toward its full 85.5 meters.
All right, easy now. We're almost there.
At the very top, a helicopter lowered a radar dome into place. Inside, engineers powered on the first console, a green screen sweeping the airfield to life. 11 passenger boarding bridges were lifted into position along the terminal's edge, each one a future link between the building and waiting aircraft. Beside the main terminal, a dedicated Aramco terminal building rose, a streamlined structure built for the airline operations of Saudi Arabia's national oil company. Inside the Royal Terminal, craftsmen unrolled hand-knotted carpets, hung crystal chandeliers, and polished marble columns, a space built for ceremony, not crowds. At the heart of the complex, a mosque for 2,000 worshippers took shape. A slender minaret rising geometric tiles set by hand beneath its central dome. Far from the terminal, massive fuel tanks were welded together and underground hydrant pipelines were laid, a buried system to refuel aircraft without a single truck. A dedicated fire station rose near the runway, built with reinforced floors strong enough to bear the weight of the airport's crash rescue fire trucks. At a fenced substation, transformers were lifted into place and switchgear wired in. One by one, breaker switches lit up. The airport's power grid came alive. A water treatment plant rose to serve this remote desert site. Pumps and filtration tanks installed to sustain both drinking water and future landscaping. A greenhouse rose on the airport's edge, raised beds filled with soil, misting systems installed, the first step in greening an entire desert complex. A brand new 36-kilometer highway stretched out across the desert, asphalt pavers and signage crews linking this remote airport to the city of Dammam. Beside the terminal, a multi-level car park rose floor by floor, precast panels lifted into place, built to one day hold 4,500 vehicles. A quiet residential compound rose nearby, apartment blocks, streets, and a playground. A small town built to house the staff who would run this airport. In 1990, officials gathered on the apron to declare the basic infrastructure complete. Runways, terminal, and tower stood finished, but no flights had landed yet. Then war arrived. Almost overnight, this brand new civilian airport became a coalition airbase, military transport planes filling runways meant for airliners. 10 Thunderbolts and Apache helicopters lined the apron, ground crews rearming and refueling combat aircraft on a runway built for peace, not war. Patriot missile batteries rose around the airfield, radar trailers tracking the sky above an airport that had not yet welcomed a single passenger. Inside the terminal, duty-free shops were fitted with glass storefronts, signage lit up overhead, and carpet rolled out. The concourse slowly came to life. After years standing idle, baggage belts hummed back to life and escalators ran test cycles, the airport's mechanical systems waking up piece by piece. In the control tower, controllers ran live simulations as a test aircraft touched down below. Inspectors checked every gate, and the airport was finally certified. At the old Bahrain airport, staff packed up signs, desks, and files, loading them onto trucks. Operations were finally moving to the new facility. On November 28, 1999, dignitaries gathered for the official inauguration. A ribbon was cut, fireworks lit the sky, and the terminal doors opened to the public. Inside the bright new concourse, the very first paying passengers boarded their flight. Ground crew pushed the aircraft back. Commercial life had begun. In the early 2000s, new airlines arrived one by one, route maps filling with destinations across the Middle East, Asia, and Europe. In 2009, the giant Antonov An-225, the largest cargo plane ever built, landed here, dwarfing every vehicle and every onlooker at the perimeter fence. In 2017, the airport was placed under the Dammam Airports Company. New branding replaced old government signage as management turned more corporate. Rows of solar panels rose across airport land, harnessing the same relentless sun that once challenged engineers, now powering Vision 2030 sustainability goals. Modern CT scan security lanes, self-service kiosks, and facial recognition e-gates were installed, pushing this decades-old airport into the digital age. A new master plan was unveiled, architects presenting an expanded terminal designed to push capacity beyond 30 million passengers a year. Construction resumed beside the mature terminal, new piles driven, new steel rising, the same disciplined work that built this giant decades before. Today, King Fahd International Airport stands complete. 780 square kilometers of runways, terminals, and towers, the largest airport on planet Earth.